the reason why we tell stories in businesses is basically just because they're a way of engaging the audience and really getting someone on board with the message in the most effective way that's even possible. So I quite like this picture and the quote that usually goes with it. It's like, what's the longest 5 seconds of anyone's life? Waiting to click skip ad on YouTube. And that's very true, because nobody wants to watch ads, because ads are boring, ads are annoying, and ads hit us when we can least really deal with them, while we're in the middle of enjoying content. We're watching, you know, we've finished a long day of work, we've come home and we've finally put on Shortland Street or whatever. And then you're watching and all of a sudden, bang, something interrupts you and it takes you completely out of that story and catapults you into something super mundane and superficial, usually, as we'll look at some of the ad examples. And that's just a pain, and no one can really deal with it. No one really likes it. And this is what's called interruption advertising, which has been done for over 300 years. Since Benjamin Franklin started publishing newspapers, they found that interrupting content with advertisements was the most effective way to reach a larger audience, because people couldn't do anything about it. They want to consume the content, so they are necessarily confronted with those ads. The same thing is with cold calls interrupting our daily routines, print ads in the newspapers, video ads interrupting us when we're scrolling Facebook. I've heard people call it their advertising feed, because Facebook seems to be nothing but advertising these days. Spam emails interrupting our workflow. It takes us about 20 minutes to get back into the same level of productivity after every email, and it's really effective because people had no way around it. But nowadays, people can really get around these things through the internet, through the things like subscription models, through ad blocking software and so on. And so they have become quite good at blocking out advertising completely. Then further things that really disenchant us with corporations are just the feeling that we're being lied to, we're being betrayed, and corporations are putting their profits above our well-being. And that has really cost the business community in general a lot in terms of reputation. And the Edelman Trust Barometer found that only 52% of people in democracies actually trust businesses. So people expect to be lied to, and they expect to be interrupted. That's kind of led to a thing recently, a marketing revolution, where consumers have gotten the power back and they can now ignore advertising. We block advertisements. Ad blockers block about $41.4 billion worth of ad spend every year. And we pay to avoid advertising. So that's things like your Netflix, Spotify, just finding alternative models who capitalize on the very model of not presenting you with ads. So for businesses, that means that these models of advertising don't work anymore. So we need to find a new way of advertising in a way that actually reaches people and in a way that people want to engage with that. So as Seth Godin said, marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories you tell. So the way that we reach our audience is through story-driven marketing, and that is not in contradiction to content marketing. That is basically the best way of doing content marketing. So we tell stories to capture and hold audience attention and to build an emotional connection between yourself and the prospect. And we'll look at how to do that.